Hey, it's Susan Pierce Thompson and welcome to the weekly vlog. Oh, I'm so excited to be here with you today. I'm feeling filled up and grateful, and the topic I want to talk with you about today is the global movement of bright line eating. If you've been watching closely, you might know that we just went through a huge bright line eating boot camp launch with the food freedom videos out and available for the last several weeks. And during this, 2 to 3 week period, over 150,000 people have tuned in to watch the food freedom videos for fun and for free from all over the world. And I just want to dial in there for a second because I want to emphasize from all over the world, literally from all 7 continents, including Antarctica. I think there's about 90 people living in Antarctica right now in a research facility, and one of them has signed on to take the quiz and watch the videos. And there are something like 195, 196 countries in the world, and the list of countries that didn't have someone sign up to watch the videos and to take the quiz and all that stuff is like, you can count them on like one hand or maybe 1.5 hands, like short list of countries, including countries where they don't really have internet access, like North Korea, which means that bright line eating has penetrated all over the world. I don't know, we might at this moment be the most widespread weight loss program. I don't like to call us a weight loss program, but you know what I mean, the most widespread food solution on earth. There's people all over the world engaged in this movement, and there's something very electrifying about that, something very humbling about that, and something very stirring or moving or motivating about that for me, and maybe for you too. What it feels to me like is that in the same way that toxic, addictive food has spread all over the world, and we have now more overweight people in China and India than anywhere else in the world. In that same way, the message of how to cope if your brain is highly susceptible to the addictive properties of those foods, that message is coming right behind it, spreading all over the world too. And that's an exciting and powerful thing. And there's a couple things I want to mention about that. First of all, I feel a responsibility to up-level our game in the face of this global movement so that we have services and offerings and support for everyone who wants it. From the very beginning, on my very first website, I talked about my big, hairy, audacious goal. And my big, hairy, audacious goal could be summarized in one sentence. And this was my goal from the very beginning, from the moment in my morning meditation on January 26th, 2014, when the universe spoke to me and said, Susan, write a book called Bright Line Eating. And as far as I know, that was the first moment that the words Bright Line Eating ever existed in that order, to my knowledge. The universe said, write a book called Bright Line Eating. And the force behind that message was so that anyone, anywhere, who truly, truly wants to live happy, thin, and free, and is willing to do what it takes to get there, will have access to a roadmap that works. That's my big, hairy, audacious goal. Anyone, anywhere, who wants it and is willing to do what it takes will have access to a roadmap that works. So I want to talk a little bit about this global movement and about what it's going to take to give access to everybody. We're not there yet, that's for sure. I mean, if you just went through this bootcamp launch, you might have been made aware that the bootcamp requires a significant investment, both an investment of time and motivation and energy, but also a financial investment that I know, I'm not stupid, I know that it's well beyond the reach of most people on earth. Now, I'm not a business person at heart. I'm a professor, I'm a scientist, I'm a mentor, I'm an educator, I'm a mother, I'm a friend. I'm not a businesswoman at heart, but I do know from my roots about money what it feels like to have money be scarce. When I was a kid, my dad was a cab driver. My parents were divorced. My dad was a cab driver. My mom worked at a struggling shop. I think the most it ever made, no, not the most, the average it made was $18,000 a year. So we lived, we kind of scraped by at the poverty line, maybe a little above it. And I remember what it was like to not have money for a lot of things that we wanted to do. I will say that the honest truth is that the boot camp is an intensively high-touch program, and our staff here of 25 at Bright Line Eating, I pay them a living wage with benefits, and that means that that's actually what it costs to deliver the boot camp the way we do it. Now, I also am aware that this movement is only 2 years old, and we are working really hard to create options that are going to be within everyone's means. And I want to talk about a couple ways we're doing that. One is that I've finished writing the book, Bright Line Eating. It's going through the copy editing process and the design process. It's being published by Hay House, which is a wonderful publisher. I'm really excited about that. And it's due to be out in March of 2017. And when that happens, anyone with a library card will be able to access it. Now, I think it just gets published in America, and then there's going to be a process of getting it translated and getting it spread around the world. If you live in a country where you know people in the publishing industry, send in an email to me. Just hit reply to any of my emails, and I can let you know the process of working with Hay House to get the book published in your country, in your language. So that's one way that we're getting the message out. Another way is that we're building, slowly but surely, a technology platform that can reach everyone around the world. And that is an exciting thing. It's going to be like an app. You'll be able to access it online or download it onto a smartphone, an Android phone, an iPhone, either one. It'll be available in all of these formats. And so like other technology platforms like Facebook, for example, that have spread around the world and literally billions of people can access it and do access it on a regular basis, that's my vision, that's my movement. And what's so amazing about that idea is that finally there will be a way for us all to be connected, because eating addictively is by definition an isolationist activity. It's an activity that's filled with numbness, and at its worst, shame and self-loathing and desperation, or maybe just distance and numbing. I know that there are people in the world who overeat in the company of friends, and on occasion I was like that too, where overeating felt like a connecting activity. But what happened for me as I progressed down my journey of food addiction is that I started eating more and more alone, and feeling worse and worse about my overeating because I knew I was harming myself. And the antidote to that is connection. In the same way that I believe fundamentally the antidote to every addiction is connection. And bright lines and structure so that you're not engaging with your drug on a daily basis. So we're building these methods so that this movement can be widespread. We're going to be looking, after the book gets translated into other languages, we can look at starting to translate the boot camp into other languages. We can start to look at getting captions on our videos for the hearing impaired or people who are deaf. And we can start talking about Braille for the visually impaired. These are all things that, this movement, again, is very young, and we haven't had the resources to do that sort of thing yet. We get requests, and our answer is, we hear you, and we're working on it. And we're working so hard here behind the scenes. Right now, we're working to serve all these boot campers who signed up for the boot camp. And my team and I are, really working around the clock to make that happen. But I just want you to know, if you're in a country other than America, I just want to say welcome to the Bright Line Eating movement, and I'm thinking about you, and I'm so aware that you're out there on our beautiful, precious little planet, and that by banding together and changing the way we eat, we're going to change our food systems. The whole food culture of this world is going to be transformed to a culture that supports health and sanity and vitality and sustainability for individuals and for food communities. And we're going to be creating and spreading the message of a roadmap for everyone. And if you're in America, most people in Bright Line Eating so far are in America. That's where I am, and that's where the message has spread mostly so far. And the boot camp wasn't within your means. I just want you to know that I think of you all the time. And that I'm not someone who's like overcharging for some program that doesn't work and is a scam and is laughing all the way to the bank. Oh, no, no. No, I have never thought about money so deeply and actually with so much fear and concern and like late night thinking as I have in the past 2 years. This is actually not trivial to kind of build this, and we haven't borrowed money from anybody to build this. There's a lot of personal investment that goes into just making sure this whole thing runs and that payroll happens. And I just want you to know that I think about you all the time, all the time. And I am as committed as ever that anyone, anywhere who really wants this and is willing to do what it takes to make it happen, to live happy, thin, and free, will have a roadmap that works. That is my big, hairy, audacious goal. And the fact that that passion that I have and that mandate that the universe, what I feel, you know, this is just sort of a belief thing. I don't want to sound like a whack job here, but what I feel to be a mandate that the universe gave me on January 26, 2014, the fact that it is spread now to almost every country on earth in such a short period of time feels to me like a blessing, like a miracle, like a wild magical carpet ride. And I just want to say welcome to the movement, welcome to the community. You are so loved, and this global movement is going places. So no matter where you are in the world, welcome, and arm, we are together now. And I love you. I can't wait to meet you sometime in the future. And I can't wait to see where this goes from here. So that's the weekly vlog. If you have something you'd like me to address on the weekly vlog, you may not know this, you can actually send it in. Just send an email to susan@brightlineeating.com. I don't get to answer all of them, but most weeks I'm responding to someone's question or query, and I look forward to seeing you next week.